If you're covering miles every single morning this spring turkey season and still not killing birds, that might be the exact problem. You're walking too much. Sometimes it's not all about maximum effort on public land. A lot of times it's all about the timing. Welcome back to the hills. With it being late January here in Appalachia, that means turkey season is right around the corner, and I kind of wanted to put a little bit of a thought process in your head about what you should really be thinking about getting ready to go into spring turkey season. And a lot of times, and I'm guilty of it, so everything that I'm talking about today, I want you to know this comes from a place of experience, not a place of me looking down my nose and thinking that I'm better than you in any way, because the truth is I'm not. But a lot of times we're all guilty of getting impatient and getting up and moving and trying to catch angles on these birds. And the truth is that we're putting a lot more pressure on these animals than we think we are. So first and foremost, movement creates pressure. Even if you think it doesn't, it's creating pressure. Turkeys can see insanely well. I mean, what they can see, the details that they can see it at, and the distance that they can see it at, it's it's a little supernatural if we really want to break it down. And that really creates havoc for us as hunters, because although we have all these fancy camouflage and leafy suits and things of that nature, we don't truly understand, as we're in the moment, what a turkey can see. And we're not necessarily talking about them being able to see our entire silhouette as a human being, but they can see the slightest bit of movement going through the woods. And you have to remember, this is their home. So anything that might look out of place, whether it's a twig that doesn't move when there's no wind blowing or anything of that nature, it will cause pressure on a turkey. Plain and simple. Crunching of leaves, skylining ourselves while we're walking, all these little things add up. I mean, think about if someone were to come into your home and start moving things around that you mess with every single day. You're going to notice it. Whether you see them or not, you are going to notice the subtle little changes inside your home. So keep that in mind as we're going into spring turkey season, that we're in their bedroom, so to speak. We're in their house, where they live every single day. So they are going to understand that things are changing. Every unnecessary movement creates pressure on a turkey in one way or another. We don't necessarily have to physically bump that turkey. In other words, he doesn't have to physically be within eyesight of us. We could be over a ridge. We could be hundreds of yards away. If you are making unnecessary movements all the time, inevitably you are going to be bumping turkeys, especially on public land. So we've all been there before, where we set up on a gobbling tom, and as the morning goes on, he gets quiet, or we see some hens out in front of him. The list goes on of all the reasons why we can get a little uncertain about our setups, and that's when we typically make a bad decision. We move on a bird that we really shouldn't be moving on. We also have this subconscious feeling that if we're moving and we're trying new setups and we're trying to gain ground on the turkey, whether it's we're getting an uphill advantage or we're moving to a spot where he has to get closer to us to be able to see us, or any of these things, we feel like it's more productive in a sense. We feel like, well, this is what I saw on the internet. They moved on, this location, this bird was gobbling, he went around them. What that typically boils down to is a lack of a plan. And if you watched my last turkey hunting tips video, that's kind of one of the most important things. You have to have a plan for moments like that. The forethought needs to go into the hunt of when he comes down off the tree, which direction is he going to be wanting to go? Is he going to a food source? Is he going to hens? Is he getting away from pressure? Where is his plan of the day to go. Now, obviously, we're not always going to get it right, but we have to set ourselves up in a manner that when we get on him and we start working him and we pique his interest, he had already planned in his mind to come that direction, so it just solidifies him wanting to come and check us out. If we're going in there without a plan beforehand, a lot of times we're actually behind the 8 ball in a sense of we're the opposite direction of where he wants to go, and that's when we get that doubt creeping into us of we need to move around him to get set up on him, and then we go back to creating unwanted pressure. So I'm not saying that moving is inherently going to prevent you from being successful. That's not at all what I'm saying. Moving in itself is not bad. Moving randomly and without purpose is what will get you in trouble. So when do we want to move? Well, let's say a bird flies down. You hear him fly down, or you know it's fly down time, or whatever that case looks like in your situation, and there is absolutely zero activity. No gobbles, no movement, no sightings, no nothing. And we'll call it an hour. Now, don't take any sort of time frame as the gospel, whether it's from me or anyone else. You have to understand what it feels like for your specific terrain and your specific geographical location and everything of that. And that takes woodsmanship skills, and that takes time in the woods. So develop that on your own time. But back to the example, he gets down off the limb, he's not gobbling, he's not coming to you. Chances are that bird is not really fired up, he's not in his peak breeding season, and it doesn't matter what you do, you're going to only be able to see him if you get lucky and that's the direction he wants to walk through. So in that case, it would be a good idea to get up, move around, and see if you can get onto a different turkey. Or in that same token, let's say you see him fly down, and when he lands, you had been tree talking to him all morning, and he was a little bit responsive on the limb, but when he gets down on the ground, he beats feet and heads the other direction. That could be one of two things. He either already had hens that he was going to, he saw the hens that he was going to go to, in other words, or he caught on to what you were. Chances are it's a good idea just to back out of there. You could potentially try to back out and get around him and reset on him so he thinks that the danger is clear, but regardless, it'd be a good idea to move in that situation. Or another example would be for a midday reset. You've worked on a tom all day or all morning, and it's been unsuccessful. The location that you're in might not be all that great for a turkey to want to come in, whether it's because of briar or the cover's too thick for a turkey to get through. Whatever the case might be, it'd be a good idea during that midday when there's that lull and no movement to just back out, move around, and get into a more advantageous position. That way you can work that turkey again for that later afternoon hunt. All of this, if you think of it, is we're using the terrain and the situation to hunt. We're not going off of feeling alone, or it's not happening as fast as I want it to, or anything of that. We're using and letting the terrain and the situation dictate our movement, or we're not going to move at all. So why are we more successful when we just sit still? That is a very deep conversation, but I'll give a couple of my opinion points on it. First and foremost, turkeys want consistency. Turkeys are a highly spooky animal. They're predated on constantly around the clock. And even though they have this advantage of wings, predators are successful more times than they're not when it comes to a turkey. Most of the ecosystem in the woods is predated on. There's very few predators. If it was mostly predator out there, we really wouldn't have wildlife to begin with. So when we as a predator are moving around, the entire ecosystem of nature understands that. Go walk out in the woods and notice how the squirrels run up the trees and disappear, or they'll start barking at you to tell you to go away. Or blue jays and crows will start chirping away at you, or the songbirds will get quiet, or the list goes on and on. Inevitably, when you create movement in the woods, the entire ecosystem of Mother Nature warns each other to let each other know that there is a predator moving around. Turkeys key in on that. They are living out here 24/7, and they understand that if something changes, if there's something different in their environment, that could potentially mean that danger is around. So even if you're letting out these amazing yelps and these amazing purrs, and you sound exactly like a turkey, and you're scratching in the leaves, if the surrounding nature around you does not represent that, the turkey's going to know something is up. Now, I'm not sitting here saying that a turkey is the smartest animal in the world. By no means is that what I'm trying to preach to you here, but they are instinctive, and they understand that if their environment is changed in any way, whether, like I said, the birds aren't chirping, or the squirrels are barking, or the natural ambience of the woods is not going on, chances are they don't want to go down into that area. And as I stated at the beginning of this video, I am saying all of this from a place of experience, not a place of looking down my nose, because I'm still guilty of it from time to time, but when I first got into turkey hunting, I thought that the way that you killed turkeys was to get up in front of them, make a few calls, and within 10 minutes the turkey would be in your lap and the hunt would be over. And the reality of that is that on public land, especially private land, you can get away with a little bit more sometimes. A turkey's still a turkey. But on public land, the most successful hunts that I've had, unfortunately, I've had to sit on them for an hour, hour and a half, 2 hours, however long it takes. It takes a long sitting period to get the woods to settle back down, for all the ambient noises to continue, the other little critters that are walking around in the forest, and to be able to convince that turkey that he has a safe location to come into to try to locate the hen that I'm representing. So when you go out there, think of it this way. If you're in a position where a turkey can come to you, sit, wait it out. Even if that means the entire morning is unproductive and you're unsuccessful as far as taking a turkey home, sit, wait it out. Let him make the first move. If you're in a position where a turkey can't come to you, whether it's the terrain or the cover, creek, lake, whatever the case is, get up, relocate one time, get into a position where he can come to you, and sit again. Just remember, walking does not kill turkeys. Sitting does not kill turkeys. Calling does not kill turkeys. Knowing what to do and when to do it is what kills turkeys. And again, that all boils down to woodsmanship skills. So get out there, learn, make the mistakes, and teach yourself to be not a hunter, but a true woodsman. I hope you got some valuable information out of this video today. If you did, leave me a like and a comment down below, and let me know if you want any more turkey tips as we gear up for spring turkey season. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel, and until next time, see you on the hill.